Hello friends, this is Hedda and Margot and 6 kittens, and today we are going to be making my December setup in my bullet journal. There will be cats in the video, there will be cats in the voiceover, and overall chaos, just how my life is at the moment. It's always bittersweet setting up for December because it is the last month of the year, and for me that usually means that it's the last setup in a bullet journal before starting a new journal. So yeah, I'm feeling good about it, but also it's a bit weird that it's the last month of the year. Suddenly there's a new year. They always come on way too fast, in my opinion. For this setup, I decided to draw something for my cover page, and in true mochibujo fashion, we're doing the drawing on a separate piece of paper, cutting it out and then gluing it in, making a nice cute collage. So here I am using my Ohuhu paper pad, and I'm using Copic fine liners, and I'm also using some Ohuhu fine liners later. And this is kind of a self-portrait of me and Margot, my foster cat. Since she's only a foster cat, she's not going to be with me forever, and I thought I wanted to kind of commemorate our time together with this little drawing because I've grown very fond of her, and I don't think I'm delusional when I think that she's grown fond of me too. So I started with the line art as I usually do when I draw, and I started out with a very thin fine liner. This is a 0.1 size, so it is very small. I'm laughing because a kitten just lay down right in front of the microphone and is just really enjoying the attention of being right in front. Oh my gosh. I actually chose right now to do the voiceover because the cats were all sleeping, but I guess my voice just woke them up. Anyway, we're gonna keep going. So I did my line art with a very thin fine liner, a 0.1, because I knew that I would want to go over it again later. So I decided to just do it very, very fine first, and then color in parts of the drawing and then go over it again with a thicker fine liner. It's not the fastest method, but I do feel like I have a little bit more control over my lines when I do it this way. Of course, you have to really follow the lines perfectly, otherwise it will look a little bit messy. But because the bottom, or like the base line, is so thin, I don't find that I have a problem with it. So the fine liner size that I went over everything with later was a 0.25, I think, or a 0.2. And here you can see that I'm coloring in Margot first, and I used an almost black alcohol-based marker. These are the Ohuhu markers. I really like them, and I have them in a lot of colors, so it's very easy for me to just grab those. I do combine my Ohuhu markers with my Copic markers because I do have some of those. They last years. Some of these Copic markers I bought in like 2014, I think, and they're still going strong. So Copic markers are expensive, but I'd say they are a really good investment as long as you treat them right, store them horizontally, not vertically, and keep the caps on. They can last such a long time. The color scheme I went for December is green and pink. Now, I live in Norway, and in Norway, most people, I guess, a lot of people celebrate Christmas, and the color palette that I think of when I think of Christmas is green and red, but I am not a huge fan of that. I'm also not really a huge fan of Christmas themes in my bullet journal, so I don't do those very often. But a color scheme that I really do like is pink and green, and because it has the green, I think that it still fits with December, at least in my mind. But I love pink. I like pink a lot more than red, and green and pink is one of my favorite color combinations, maybe after yellow and pink. So I decided to go for green and pink for December. Okay, so right here I'm coloring in the skin of this self-portrait, and with the Ohuhu markers, I'm not sure why. I don't know if it's the paper, because this is a new paper pad I haven't used before, but this is definitely a trust the process type of situation, because as you can see, the skin is looking really gray when I first lay down the color. But as it dries, it becomes more beige. So you can see it has already changed and it looks a lot different. It looks a lot better. So yeah, it was a little bit scary coloring in it and wondering if I had just ruined the whole thing. But no, it was just the drying. And because I work with a lot of layers when I use alcohol-based markers, sometimes the end result doesn't show up until a little bit later when all the colors have dried. As I'm coloring in the hair, you can maybe tell why I chose to go over everything with a thicker fine liner later, because the hair texture definitely loses some definition once I've colored everything. I wanted all of the strands or locks to be more visible, and so I went over with the thicker fine liner. And this also means that I'm not erasing any pencil strokes underneath, and so the color stays more true black, because oftentimes when I do my line art and then I erase the pencil strokes underneath with an eraser, it kind of takes off a little bit of the color of the fine liner as well, leaving it definitely less saturated, and I don't like that look. So this was definitely the better solution for me this time. I'm doing a pink skirt on my self-portrait just to get a little bit of that pink in there. And then the star of the show of this year's December setup are these glitter pens from Ohuhu. I've never really been a glitter pen girly, but after trying these Ohuhu glitter pens, I think I've turned into one. I use them to add a few details here and there, and then you can't really see it when you're just looking straight down on the paper, but once the light hits it kind of sideways, it looks really, really pretty. So I'm really happy that I added those details. So here I'm just cutting out my drawing with scissors. I'm leaving just a small white border around it to give it a little bit more definition once it's placed in my journal on top of a collage, which was my plan. So yeah, just adding a few small details at the end, giving the hair a little bit more definition, and then calling it good. Here you can really see the glitter details. They're just shining in the light. I really, really love it. I think it gave the drawing something a little bit extra. So now we can start on the actual spreads. Here is my traveler's notebook sized notebook. This one is from Notebook Therapy. I am going full on cutesy pink pearls, everything lace in the setup because Artie from Lila Journals sent over these amazing pet tapes for me to try. And this kitten just tried to drink my coffee, which is very naughty of him, and he didn't like it because it's coffee. So there is some coffee on the table, but oh well. Back to the journal. I've actually had so much fun stationery come in this month, and one of them is the Hinoki Into the Beloved stationery set from Notebook Therapy. So I thought, what better way to celebrate the end of the year than using all of this new stationery? And of course, I wanted to also use my own stickers. These are the Patreon stickers that I am sending out to my patrons this month. Green and pink, of course. So in this setup, you'll see a lot of Notebook Therapy, Lila Journals, Ohuhu, and me. And this guy. I wanted to create a very delicate cover page, and I do think that I succeeded in this. I used some of the pet tape from Lila Journals that has all of these like strings of pearl. They're really pretty and they're so long, so you can use as much or as little as you want to because they are very easy to cut anywhere along the string. So I used some of those in here. This one has some cute bows. It did accidentally rip, so I had to kind of attach an extra piece at the end, which was a little bit tricky, but with the tweezers it was fine. You can see that I'm struggling though. I really like the fact that the Traveler's notebooks are square when you open them. Like, they are very slim, but when you open them, they're almost a perfect square. So they are really fun to make layouts in. And I wanted this cover page to have a kind of collage in the middle, so not all the way out to the edges, but kind of keeping it centered in the middle. To avoid cutting my drawing in two, I placed her kind of on the left side of the spread. Making collages with 6 kittens really is a struggle because they want to eat and taste and play with everything. You can tell that my hands have been scratched from here into oblivion. They use my hands as toys, and they use my legs as a scratching pole and a climbing pole. And I don't want to complain too much because they are very cute, but I will probably not sign up to have 6 kittens living in my apartment in the foreseeable future again. But while they are here, I am of course enjoying the company, and I'm trying to just live in the now, you know? Just enjoy the short time that I have with them. This is fine, and you guys like seeing the kittens in my videos, so I can endure a little bit of difficulty making the videos for you. As always, I will put links to everything that I'm using in the description box below. If I don't have links, I will put the company name or the brand name. And for some things, I might not know where they're from because I got them as a gift. And in that case, they will not be in the description box. So if you don't see it in the description box, I don't know where it's from. I'm sorry. As you probably know by now, if you've watched several of my videos, I tend to add a lot of paper to my journal, a lot of stickers, a lot of ephemera, washi tape, and my journal becomes really chunky. And when you add a lot of stuff, especially across the seam in the middle of the spread, it can get a little bit hard to have the journal close properly. So what I always do is I cut everything in 2 pieces. Everything that's gonna go across the seam, I cut in 2 so that I glue them on their respective pages and not across the middle of the spread. This works really well for me. Of course, sometimes it's a little bit sad to have to cut things in half, but I find that it makes closing the journal a lot easier. It makes it stay closed without the elastic band if I needed to. And so that's something that I just always do. It's almost autopilot at this point. Although my spreads are definitely over the top like they usually are, I wanted to take a little bit of inspiration from Leela Journals. Like I mentioned before, she did send over a bunch of pet tapes. She even sent me a notebook that is really cute. And I've showed them over on Instagram. We're also doing a giveaway very soon. I just have to actually make the reel for it. I just really admire her and I really love her art. So I wanted to take a little bit of inspiration from her in these spreads. And so I am keeping a lot of my spreads white, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not adding any colored paper or anything like that to write on. I'm just keeping it fairly simple in terms of setup, but then I'm adding a lot of smaller details. She always uses very thin fine liners, very elegant and dainty lines. So I wanted to kind of keep it the same way. So I'm not using very much black in the setup. Of course, the line art on my drawing is black, but in the rest of the setup, I'm not using any black at all. So keeping it very soft and pastel and light, kind of airy in a way. That's my tribute to Leela Journals in this setup. And I'm actually really happy with how this entire setup turned out. And I'm really excited for December to begin very soon and start using these spreads because I absolutely love them. Oh, and I should mention that I used the green glitter pen to do my December title. And then I went over the downstrokes a little bit more to make it more of a calligraphy script or like hand lettering effect. I was very pleasantly surprised by this glitter pen because sometimes when you use glitter pens and you go over it several times, it will kind of like lift some of the shiny pigments off. And I did have that problem on the next spread actually, but with this green one, that was not an issue at all. I love that I was able to add so many smaller details to the spread without making it overwhelming. And because everything else that I'm adding to the page is very pastel, my own drawing really stands out and is the main center of attention, I guess, when you look at the spread, which was exactly what I wanted. I'm adding a few sparkles with the glitter pen, and then the cover page is done and we can move on to the next spread, which is going to be my monthly calendar. Here I had a vision and I needed to trust the process. So I wanted it to look like this doily was behind the calendar, but I didn't want to add extra paper on top to make the calendar. So instead I just drew along the shape that my calendar was going to be, and I used scissors to cut the doily, and then I could glue the doily down and make it look as if it is appearing behind the calendar. Does that make sense? I also drew my calendar with a very thin gray fine liner. This is a 0.1 size gray fine liner from Copic. And I did it this way because A, I didn't want the black, and B, I knew I was going to cover the edges of the calendar with the string of pearls pet tape. So the outer lines for the calendar, that didn't have to be super nice because it was going to be covered up anyway. On the string of pearls pet tape from Lila Journals, there are also these number circles, or like pearls with numbers on them. And they're fairly small, so I was able to use them in this calendar. Because I use a very small notebook this year, I have to make all of my calendars really small as well. And so a lot of number stickers are too big. Even the ones that I make for my own shop are too big for this notebook. But these were a pretty good size, and because they are so muted in color, they don't take too much of the attention away from everything else on the spread. So I felt pretty good using them here. For the rest of the decoration, I'm using a combination of the rose pet tape from Lila Journals, and I'm using the Into the Beloved pet tapes from Notebook Therapy, and I'm also using some watercolor stickers. These, I absolutely love them. They are from MindWave. I got them in Japan. I don't have links for them, but they are from MindWave. If you're ever in Japan, they have so much nice stationery. You can find them in the big stores like Loft and Tokyo Hands and other places as well. Here you can see the chaos that happens every time I sit down at my desk. They will just gather like bears to a honeypot, or kittens to stationery. I decided to do a very similar header on this spread, but with the pink glitter pen this time. I do regret a little bit making the downstrokes thicker on this particular spread, because I think that it looked very dainty and elegant with just the one stroke. Margot has started her kitten communication session, so she will be meowing a bit. It's really distracting, not gonna lie, but I'll do my best. With this glitter pen, I had a little bit of problems with the glitter not showing up correctly after doing very many strokes. So what I did is I waited until the bottom layer dried, and then I tried to just like add more later, but you can see it looks a little bit uneven. I wanted to finish the decorations and everything on this entire spread before adding the strings of pearl around the calendar, because that was going to be kind of the last thing that I did, just to make sure that nothing went on top of the pearls, if that makes sense. So here on the right side, I have one section for focus, which is kind of my goals for the month, or like my main focus for the month. And then below that, I have a section called important, which is any important events happening in December. And there are a lot of them for me. I had to add a little bit of decorations to the top right corner because there was nothing there, but I kept it very simple, just some roses and then some of the like written stickers from the pet tape as well. And then I could just get out the string of pearls pet tape and just cut off the sections that fit my calendar. Like I said, it's very easy to do because these are actually pre-cut, which is amazing. I can't even begin to imagine the job it would be to cut out all of these myself. It was so nice to just be able to cut off across the string and then just peel them off. It was amazing. Pre-cut pet tapes, honestly, such a blessing. The best thing to ever happen to the world of pet tapes. I've cut so much pet tape in my life and this time I didn't have to. There are a few different strings of pearl on the pet tape, so I chose a few different ones. I chose the very uniform one on the vertical lines, and then I chose one that has both small and large pearls on the horizontal lines. And then at the very bottom of the calendar, I decided to go for one that has these hearts on it, and the pearls are kind of hanging down in between them. I thought it was a fun, different look and added a little bit more decoration to that part of the spread because I felt like it was looking a little bit empty with just the doily. I actually ended up putting a girl sticker from the notebook therapy pet tape on there as well, just to add something a little extra because I just can't leave it alone. But I think that this looks really cute, and with the hanging pearls, it is kind of reminiscent of like Christmas garlands and stuff that you put on Christmas trees and stuff. Don't know all the English words for those things, all the Christmas decorations. But yeah, that is it for this spread. I think it turned out so cute. And now we can move on to the next spread, which will be a fairly simple spread as well. This will be my task list for December. I need a lot of room because there is a lot to do. I'm not gonna lie, this fall I've had a lot of this bad feeling of inadequacy and I try to be very kind to myself and tell myself that it's not true, that I am doing okay. But with the arrival of the kittens and all of the time that I have to spend taking care of them, and also all of the disturbances they cause, making my own productivity really plummet, I definitely have not been able to do all the things that I wanted to do this fall. I had a lot of ideas and goals and I didn't meet any of them. And I'm trying to tell myself that it's fine and we can't always be on top of our game, you know? But it has been a bit of a struggle for me because I've felt like I've been late with everything and things just haven't been moving as smoothly because my time management has been completely off because of the kittens. I haven't really talked much about this, but we've had several rounds with all kinds of illnesses with the kittens, which was very unexpected. But there is, of course, the adopted kitten, Elfrid, who arrived with the cat flu. And so that had to be taken care of. And so for a while, I had to kind of split my time in between her and the other cats because she was quarantined. And then they had some sort of parasite. They weren't sure if it was ear mites or something else. So they had to be treated for that, which took a while. They've had 2 rounds of this treatment for, I don't know what it's called in English, but in Norwegian it's ormekur. It's something that you have to give to cats often because of like parasites in their stomachs and stuff that they can get. They've had 2 rounds of that. And then now they have something else, another mystery illness that they've taken tests at the vet. I've had all the kittens to the vet because they might have a fungus, which is terrible for me because it also means that I could get it. There's just a lot more than I bargained for when I got them, and so a lot of time has gone into vet visits, trips around town trying to get stuff from the pharmacy for them, because not all pharmacies here have everything for animals as well as for humans. Just all of the cleaning, all the time I spend cleaning the floors, the furniture. I just don't feel like I've had that much time to myself. I haven't been able to like journal for fun. I haven't been able to make as many videos as I would have wanted. I haven't been able to make new products for the shop. I've had to put most of my effort into Patreon because Patreon is my main source of income, and I really don't want to disappoint my patrons. So yeah, not gonna lie, this fall has been a lot, and so I know it's going to continue into January. That's just how it is. And I'm trying to be nice to myself and telling myself that it's okay and we can't be superheroes and do everything all the time. But it is a tough realization to come to, and I'm still struggling with it a little bit. So yeah, I guess bottom line, I just want to say thank you for continuing to support me, whether it's watching my YouTube videos, leaving comments, supporting me on Patreon, following me on Instagram, like all of that. It means a lot to me. Ooh, that was a long tangent. Here I'm using the journaling pen from Ohuhu. This is a new product that they just released, actually, that they sent for me to try, and I absolutely love them. I think they are so nice. They have a fine tip on one side and then a very small brush pen on the other, and they are perfect for journaling. I really like how the spread turned out as well. I have room for lots of tasks. I was able to use some of my own stickers that I made for my patrons. Just overall, a cute spread and very simple to set up, and that is always a plus. Here is one of the kittens sleeping and dreaming on my desk. Well, two, really. They are very cute. Okay, so the last spread we are setting up in this video is my first weekly spread of December. I wanted to make a very simple layout. I wanted to have this one ready. We are at the very end of November when I am posting this video. I know, a little bit late, but I explained why just like half a minute ago. I've kind of kept up with this layout, which is inspired by Blossom Bujo, at least the right side of the spread here with this box. And then I covered the edges with pearls again, just to kind of keep it cohesive with the rest of the spreads. And here I used a few different ones. I used one with little bows on it, which I actually ended up covering up with some other stickers later, so that's a bit of a bummer, but oh well. I don't always know what's gonna happen with my spreads when I start making them, you know? I really like this layout because it has a smaller section for each day where I can write down events, appointments, anything that is happening or anything that needs to be done on a very specific day. I also put birthdays or and any kinds of plans really on the side. And then in the smaller boxes, I'm putting the days and the date of the month. So here I chose to use the pink journaling pen from Ohuhu again. It was maybe a little too neon pink for my liking for this particular spread, but you know, it's all good. We can't win every battle, you know? And then I used the numbers again from the Strings of Pearl pet tape, which I think worked really well. And then for the bottom, I wanted to do a small little collage with some decorations, so I chose to use some of the rose pet tapes again from Lila Journals and one sticker from the pet tape from Notebook Therapy. And then I wanted to use the other girl from my own sticker sheets. She's holding a bunch of presents and also kittens. There are kittens everywhere on the sticker sheet. And I think that it's just really cute, and it fits here at the right end of the spread. The kittens fight a lot on my desk, and I just wanted to show you this because they are fighting, but they're also trying to eat my cords. I can't leave any cords lying around. I have to unplug everything once I'm done using it. It's probably something that I should do anyway, but I don't. But yeah, they will try to eat my cords, which is a bad idea for both them and for me. As I'm recording this, my finger is being chewed off by the calico kitten that you see here in this video. She is ferocious, but also very cute. Her name is Astrid, by the way. Named after my mom. And they had to go. I was getting so distracted. Okay, back to the spread. I placed this little bow ribbon thingy on the top of the calendar. I was going to have a little title saying like this week or something like that, but I changed my mind. On the left side, I have a December header, and then I made little collages in between each section. So I wanted to have a section for tasks, like main tasks for this particular week, and also a little habit tracker, because as you can probably tell by now, I didn't make a habit tracker for this month. I wanted to try to do it weekly instead, see if it makes any difference in how I track, and maybe I'll be better at tracking habits if I have them on the weekly spread instead of on a monthly spread. So that's what I did. So I used the pink gel pen for this and just made a little section for tasks and the habits, of course. I think that the spread turned out really cute in the end, and it kept that very open and airy look, at least on the left side, while the right side has a lot more structure to it. So yeah, I think it really fits with the rest of the setup. And I think for December, I'm going to experiment with a few different layouts that kind of fits this theme. So if you have any ideas, let me know. And I'll try to make some reels and post them on Instagram of me setting up the weekly spreads for December, or at least the rest of them. And now, you know, with December coming up, that is the most exciting season for bullet journal content out there. I think everyone is setting up their new journals for the new year. I will be setting up a new bullet journal. I'll be setting up a new reading journal. It's all very exciting. So please keep an eye out for those videos. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and turn on notifications, because then you get notified right away. I'm not always that diligent with posting links to my new videos in my channel on Instagram. So yeah. Oh, the final thing we need to do is to add the last tab of the year. This year I've been using these tabs from Notebook Therapy. They were in one of the stationery boxes that they released last year, and they do have similar tabs in the Into the Beloved Hinoki box that I talked about earlier, but those are pink. And I kind of wish I had pink ones for 2024, but I guess I might be able to use them for 2025, depending on whether they fit with the notebook I choose or not, because I haven't quite decided on which notebook to use for 2025. But if you know which notebook you're using, please let me know in the comments. Maybe I'll get some ideas. I do have a pretty big stash of notebooks that I haven't used yet, so I would love to try something new this year. I will not be doing Traveler's Notebook for my next bullet journal. I think 1 year was enough for now, and then I can go back to it later if I want to, but now I'm looking to do something a little bit bigger again. Because variation is good. So here is the final flip through of my December setup. I think that it turned out really cute. I love all the little details. I love the green and the pink. And yeah, it just feels very dainty and dreamy, I think. If you watched this video all the way to the end, be sure to put a green and a pink emoji in your comment to let me know. That is like our secret language. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. And thank you so much for subscribing to my channel and clicking the like button, because that really helps me. It helps YouTube know that people like the video, and then they show it to more people. So it helps with the algorithm, basically. So if you enjoyed the video, please click the like button. And be sure to follow me on Instagram as well. I also have a link to my Patreon in the description box below. That is a really wonderful place. And yeah, once again, thank you so much for your support, especially this fall. It's been rough. And I hope that you'll have a wonderful December, a wonderful end of the year. And I hope that you are there for each other, because that's what matters the most. Have a lovely day, and I'll see you next time. Bye!